Welcome to Albion TV presents the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. Today is Wednesday, the 1st of April, and I am your host, Shozen, and joining me today is my host, Bogul.
Hello. I
don't know, Bogul. I'm kind of feeling like you should just do this one alone.
What?
Yeah.
No. Oh my. That's a. Chad, help. So when. Shozen? Help. Welcome to the Albion Daily Show. We are having a lot of content for you today. We will be awaiting Shozen's return at some point in time, but today we will. Damn, where did this go? Sure.
I want to see how you'd be able to handle it. But okay, clearly I'm needed here. So today is Wednesday patch day, and we have a bunch of things going on. As you may know, we have a few PSAs for you. And the first one you're going to want to know, and if you don't already know it, you're really slow. There's a fame boost. It's 25%. It's all week. Ends Monday, downtime, right?
You can look at the top left of your screen. It says 5 days, 14 hours until you still have the bonus of 25% additional fame. Damn, you threw me off, man.
I told you I was going to do it beforehand. You're like, no, don't do that. Don't just leave me here.
See, chat, that's what I have to work with. Oh my god. My heart's pounding. Live on air.
Man, imagine if we had Bogul Cam. This would have been amazing. This is why we got to get Bogul Cam.
Someday.
For days like today.
Someday. Yeah. But Fame Boost, Spring Fame Boost, as it's called, is ongoing until the maintenance Tuesday, April 7th. Which is very soon. Use it. Keep an eye on the markets as well, because people have been buying out a bunch of materials to push their spec. Maybe there is a good deal to be made there. And otherwise, just go get some fame. It's time. It's time for that.
Now, yeah, we've been doing the newbie fame farms, and today we sent out 3 more newbie farms to go fame. Is that really the right term? Newbie farms?
No. Newbie groups. We helped newbies find groups and find guilds and got them into the action. That's what we did. We didn't farm newbies. No.
All right. Well, we did bring the newbies out in a fame farm today, and they did get an extra 25% fame, and I think that's good. It's a good week for it. I just wish it was lasting a little bit longer, because I have a feeling we're gonna be stuck in our houses longer than a week, Bogul.
I know why it's only a week though.
Why?
Because on the 8th, the day after the fame boost ends, we have the Easter event. We'll get to that later. There's no official announcement for that, but it's sort of partially announced. Yeah.
Do we get the bunny ears back?
I don't know. Nobody knows. I think that's part of the secret. It just says Easter event somewhere. But yeah, that's the fame boost. We also, as today is the 1st of the month, we also have the Hunter Challenge back, where you can get your Adventurous Challenge for the new month. You can get the Black Panther again. You can get the Avatar Ring, the Hunter Challenge chests with a bunch of good-looking things. And look at that puppy. One of my favorite mounts in Albion. One of the fastest, I think.
It's a cat, Bogul.
It's a cat?
Yeah, it's not a puppy.
Oh. I like both.
I think we brought the Panther back just in time for Tiger King.
What? Who's watching this? Is anybody really watching that show?
Everybody. Bogul.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only person not watching that show.
Am I chat? Am I the only one? I don't think so.
If there's anybody else not watching it, they should be watching it too. Let's move on. All right, let's get back to the PSAs. That's a whole nother level of.
We have
I could just go on
also,
a tangent.
since it's the first of the month, we do have the referral season starting again, and this time we get an alpaca.
A very nice alpaca.
Yeah, a beautiful one.
I'm gonna go take a nice zoomed in look at Bogul on his alpaca here. I did not get one.
Well, we are here to announce that this is live, right? If you refer one friend, then you can get this very nice skin here. It is available now. People are already sort of trading it, but we have some magic, some GM magic, and we got the privilege to show this off. Look at this.
It's a very cute alpaca. And I heard that Blue Army was going to show up on all alpacas today. However, they found out that it was a skin for the stag, and they were like, nah. I still ride the pony, though, because the skin for the horse.
I think people might just start using the stags because it's an alpaca now. Let's see
Maybe
if there's
that's
any
the
good
goal.
stags in here.
That's the goal.
Giant stags, Yule stag. No, there's literally only the tier 4 one that's good. Damn it.
They're all bad. They're all bad. The stags are bad. I even have one of the special stags. It's still bad.
It's pretty. It's super cute. It's like it's my favorite. It's my new favorite mon for the city, I have to say.
I'm still a big fan of the pony. I'm still gonna ride the pony, although I don't have pony on my GM character. I should get all the skins for my GM character. That's what I'm doing. Who thinks these up? We actually have a elite group of monthly thinkers. We lock them in a room alone for a month, and then at the end of the month, they determine what we're going to do for an adventurer's challenge. No, we rotate it every month. It's not the same people, Dan and Mike. Just like we rotate the rewards, we rotate the 5 people we lock in a closet.
How long does it usually take to come up with an alpaca?
About 5 minutes. But we lock them in there for a month just so they can think about what they've done.
You're in a good mood today, sir. Not wanting to do the show, leaving me here for April's Fools.
Locking people in closets.
Yeah.
All right.
What's up? What's going on, sir? Did you watch some ZVZ? That
you know why I'm in such a good mood?
No.
Because we finally got our new theme music. We put out for this music probably about 6 months ago, now that I think about it. It was a long time ago. And finally, we've got our own theme music. It's pretty freaking fantastic. And I think you should play it for the audience yet again. And
I will after we sort of discuss who this guy is, because I think that's important to understand the context in.
Yeah, it was not an easy get. Probably the fastest rising star in all of the history of Berlin music. I mean,
definitely. I heard Berlin is.
I don't think anybody knew who this guy was 2 days ago. And now
Günther,
probably the most talked about artist in all of Berlin.
Yeah, visionary Berlin artist delivers a powerful take on the Albion Online theme. Look at his pose here. I think that's artist worthy, definitely. There's a little tiny interview here as well. He's apparently part of the avant-garde scene in Berlin. He also spent some time answering questions about Albion and his inspiration. He says, what made you choose to do a cover of the Albion Online theme song? Albion Online has always meant a lot to me. From the full loot system where I've spent many sleepless nights over losing my command mammoth, to getting ganked in a deeply unfair 20 versus 1 fight. It really teaches you the power of resilience, numbers, and fighting for what you believe in. The world is unfair. Get used to it.
It's true.
Yeah. And then some inspirations for him are oat milk, daily yoga and meditation, and a constant state of existential crisis.
You know what I do when I feel that way is I just read the wall.
You read the wall?
Yeah. Anytime I'm feeling, a little bit too giddy, just read the wall.
Okay. Apparently there is some chance we might get a K-pop dev talk from Robin Henkes. Could you imagine that with like him dancing and stuff with like a bunch of...
They have that special hand dancing that they do? The Korean hand dancing? That explains so much now. Like, I thought, he was like, taking something from the Italians, but what he's really doing is Korean hand dancing. And, that's what he's doing there. So it makes so much more sense now. I think I'm looking forward to... We have an interview with him coming up. We can probably ask him about that.
If he ever was in Korea? Sure.
No, about his obsession with Korean hand dancing.
Oh. Maybe that opens a whole... Oh, I don't want to go that path. He might send us videos and then we get like previous... Let's play this great song and watch it one more time. I will play it in the background so you can watch shows and react to this, I guess.
Yeah, I'll turn it up. It's pretty good.
Wow, beautiful. Wow.
Yeah, every note feels like just a cascade of notes. It's like I'm listening to all the notes at once.
See, that's what you get for walking out on me, sir. Just leaving me here. But we also have something else today that we can show off before we talk about fishing, I think.
Oh, we have some else we can show off. What can we show off?
So today is patch 9, right? Everybody should have seen that in their client with some fishing improvements. But first I want to skip to the bottom of that news post. Apparently we have something that's called Executioner.
Oh, the Executioner. That looks like quite the toy.
It does, and it shoots animals. Apparently, you can get that as part of the Easter event soon, right? Here, April, blah, blah, blah. But it's already in the game, and if you're super, if you have urges, then you can get that already. And I think, and here, if I demount, that see?
Oh my God, he's got one!
Yeah.
I need one. Oh my gosh.
It has like a chicken.
So I have to do the dailies to get this?
No, we don't know, but it just says during the upcoming Easter event, it will also be purchasable via surprise egg tokens, whatever that is. That will be obtainable throughout the world. So if I remember,
I'm just gonna buy a bunch of eggs. Yeah.
Previous Easter events, you could find them in the open world, and then you collect a bunch, and then you can trade them in. I think that's how it might work. No promises. But you can see here, then, if you change to the thing, on the bottom you have 1, 2, 3. Summon Marmot, summon Frog, and summon Snow Bunny, and then you can... And they even make sounds.
Marmots!
Yeah.
I can't kill the marmot.
You can do... Hey, it doesn't shoot. Why doesn't it shoot? Hello?
I saw it. It shot.
Well, just once.
What was it supposed to do?
It's supposed to shoot a frog and a bunny. Let me. SBI? I can't even teleport anymore. I think I might have got kicked from the game.
I think we all got kicked from the game.
There we go. Okay.
I definitely have a black screen of death.
Same. Perfect
Okay.
timing.
And just like yesterday, Bogul has once again broken the game while playing. I don't know if you guys were around yesterday when Bogul decided to break the game, but he put too many people in the zone and broke the game. So
let's wait for Twitch chat to all come say hi to us. Let's brave for the wave.
Okay, brace for impact, guys. Get ready. The trolls are incoming in 5.
I guess we saw one marmot fly, and it's supposed to shoot the frog here as well, there, and the bunny, and it makes like a sound as well. So it's cool. And I think the price I saw in game was like 2,000 gold, if I saw that right. So that's that.
Wait, you can buy that for 2,000 gold?
I think, if I saw this right.
Okay.
Or you can wait until next week and get it with the event. That's how I understand this.
I'm gonna allow this. People are trolling for fun. I agree. You know what? I think in honor of that last game crash, I think that people are probably in need of something to remind them of something awesome. So why don't you play the song one more time, Bogul? Spazgel wants to hear it one more time. I understand how it can really elevate your spirits.
Sure.
And I'll go ahead and pull some raffles for these guys.
If I can still find it. I closed it, sir, because I was like, wow.
Well, didn't you know you were going to listen to it again in just a few seconds?
Not in a few seconds, but there we go.
How could you not want to play it again immediately after listening to it the first time? Like, my initial reaction was, oh my God, best song ever made for Albion. Mm-hmm. My second reaction was, how can I play this again?
Now, playing it right now.
Oh, thank God. I should turn it up in the background so I can. Yeah.
And with that, we welcome all the people who just came from the game to check out the stream, to complain about the stream, just to see the same thing we see.
That's an awesome song, Bogul. I'm so glad that you played it a second time for us. Why don't you go ahead and play that song again for the... It's a double play Wednesday.
No, Shozen, no. We have other more important things to talk about.
Let's talk about fishing.
Sure, fishing. Patch 9 brings fishing improvements. Dun, 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 dun. Much needed, much requested. I think we saw it in the roadmap first, right? We saw the hint. And now, today, apparently, gear and food applies. So there's a bunch of stuff, but first things first, the seaweed fix happened. So now you no longer need to fail at fishing to get seaweed. You just get it as a bonus when you actually fish, depending on the tier and zone that you fish in. You also now can use gathering food bonuses that apply to the fishing yield, which is nice. People were quite confused when that didn't happen in the past. And fishing gear and visualization spec in your mastery now applies to tier 1 and 2 fishing as well. Because apparently people like tier 1 and 2 fishing and were confused why specking like 100 mastery in fishing didn't give them more tier 1 fish.
I need more booze in my coffee, Bogul.
Why? It's a good day. It's a wait. Chad says game is back on. Is that real?
They're being trolled.
You check for me, and we keep talking on about fishing. There are the patch notes that are here.
Oh, Bogul, it's back up, and I've got a referral link to invite my friends.
What?
Referral link. Oh, that's not. It says click this button for my referral link. It does not. It doesn't work. The referral link button isn't working, Bogul. Or maybe I don't get a referral link because I'm a GM.
Good thing you didn't copy paste something else that you had in here. Did you? Yeah. So with
could have been bad.
Yeah, could have been really bad. So other than the fishing improvements, we have the new executioner that you have in the wardrobe now, and some fixes, blah blah blah, small things, party markers. An issue where menu would be closing. That is particularly annoying if you craft a lot, because you would go to the crafting station and then do a little scrolling, and then suddenly it's not there anymore. Your crafting thing, and you do have to walk away and redo the menu, and that should be fixed now. That's nice. That's nice, and that's patch 9 already. That's a small patch.
Katagina, I'm sorry to hear that. Sucks to be you, man. Apparently Katagina was destroying a hideout. It had 2 shields left. Now, because downtime took too long, the entire downtime was invulnerable. It restored shields, and we lost 10 million silver, 500 siphoned energy, and people's efforts are not respected. You know what we should do? Respect his efforts by playing that song one more time.
No. Listen, I'm walking out if this continues. Then only if chat wants it. Only if chat wants it.
No, I don't think chat wants that. Right now, what they want is pretending to be an expert with Shozen and Bogul. The very first episode of Pretending to be an Expert. Mm-hmm. Yes, we had our friend Exxon Fang on, who might be in chat right now. And we interviewed him about wormholes.
What now?
Wormholes.
Why?
Because in Eve, they have these things called wormholes, and they act similar to what was described as our upcoming Roads of Avalon. And we were like, ooh, maybe if we learn a little bit more about these wormholes, we could know a little bit more about the Roads of Avalon. And so we brought him in, and he and I and you, the 3 of us, we sat down and we had a bit of a chat. And I think it went pretty well. Almost as good as that song that we've been listening to all day. And I almost feel like we should play it one more time right before the interview. Maybe 2 more times. Just okay, you know what?
I think we should play in refresher.
Play it after. Play it after.
And we should also teach people what Roads of Avalon are. At least show that little clip from the dev talk, so people get an update and a reminder before we play the interview. And that is how Robin describes the Roads of Avalon.
For the improvement of solo and small group gameplay, we have
people are
two
really
exciting
excited about
features
the
lined
interview,
up.
Bogle. We have one
First
person
one
who's so excited
is
about
the
the
Roads of
interview,
Avalon.
like they're pulling their
With the
hair
next
out
update,
in
we're planning
anticipation of hearing that song again.
I want to do. I'm playing the clip now.
to reveal these mystical paths through the mist that form an ever-shifting network of connections all across Albion, which only let through a limited number of players at each time, and which only exist for a limited time in the world. In this way, the roads open up a vast number of opportunities for small-scale gameplay. As a solo player, you'll be able to explore these paths, you'll be able to find valuable treasure and activities along the way, you'll be able to use them for transportation, and you'll be able to share them with your guild for them to use. You can even use the roads to go directly from the Royal Continent deep into the Outlands, avoiding ganking at city portals altogether. Small groups will also find access to these roads, and even small guilds will be able to use these roads to find remote places to settle away from the hustle and bustle of the Outlands, and founding a sort of unique play style by living in the mists and having to find their way out of them every single day. Also in this update, we're going to introduce an
Yeah, that's the part from the dev talk that we have, where he sort of gives us a few hints about what we could maybe hope for, expect. And so we thought we'd ring up our resident wormhole expert, Agazon Fang, who I think
Were you about to call him a hole expert?
Yes.
Okay.
And we asked him stuff, and I think you have some other information to introduce him, or am I just playing the interview?
No, I think that's all he needs right there. Resident hole expert.
All right, guys. Enjoy the interview, and yeah, see you later.
Welcome to Pretending to be an Expert with Shozen and Bogul. Today, our guest expert is Exon Fang, one of the, actually the head diplomat and one of the co-leaders of the Brave Newbie Alliance, and at one time, an EVE player. And we brought him on today because he says he knows a lot about wormholes. And you might be like, why? Why does anybody need to know about wormholes? Well, wormholes from EVE seem like, maybe, could be very similar to our upcoming Roads of Avalon. So we've brought in our expert, Exon Fang. Now, Exon, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and why we would bring you in for this?
Yep. Hi, my name is Exon Fang. Like Shozen just said, I'm the head diplomat for Brave Newbie. But like he also said, I also used to play EVE, and I used to play quite a lot of EVE. In my time in EVE, I actually started life as a brand new pilot in a wormhole. Spent about 4 months there learning the game and learning the meta there. And then eventually moved on to bigger and better things, doing actually diplomat work for the Initiative Alliance. So I've got experience doing leadership in both games, and I've got pretty in-depth experience with the mechanics of both games. And the Roads of Avalon seems like it's going to be pretty similar to Wormholes, so I figured I might have some things I can say on it that might be pretty interesting.
All right, before we get started on wormholes, Bogul, do you want to give the listener a quick rundown of what they could expect in the Roads of Avalon? We have about, 2 paragraphs here?
So, I mean, as far as I understand, the Roads of Avalon are a concept where you have portals in the world that connect to different areas, either of the game or within its sort of network itself. And you can only bring a limited number of players, it says. It also says that they are only open for a limited amount of time. And that you're supposed to be able to live there too? I mean, I think that's all we have, right?
Well, yeah, we have very little on it. We have that there's a portal that opens here. Eventually it goes there. There being it's supposed to be a Royal Continent to Deep Outland portal. But to get there, you have to go through the mists. And the mist sounds like some kind of zones where small-scale PvP can occur. And apparently you can live there if you are a smaller guild.
Yeah, so maybe if I explain how wormholes work in Eve, it'll help kind of explain how these might work in Albion.
Let's go for it. I'm ready. Let's hear about it.
So I'm going to use Albion terms as much as I can just to make it easy to describe. But so right now we have the Royal Continent, which has all the royal cities, and then we have the Outlands. And between those are the Realm Gates, and that's how you go between the Royal Continent and the Outlands. What the Roads of Avalon is likely to be a third area. It may not have a map, but it might be a third area of zones, similar to how the Outlands is or how the Royal Continent is. Now, the difference is instead of just being static connections, you go northeast out of one zone into another, those connections to those zones are going to be random. And they're going to open up for a limited amount of time. And when they're open, they're only going to let a limited number of people in. In Eve, how this worked, it basically was the same thing. You've got known space, which is all the systems you can travel to via gates. Each system has at least one gate connecting it to another system permanently. And then you have wormhole space or jovial space, J space. That space has no gates connecting to any other systems and instead has two different types of wormholes that spawn. You've got static connections and you've got wandering connections. Static connections so in every wormhole, you can count on there being at least one wormhole always there no matter what. If it closes, i.e. too many players go through the wormhole or too much mass goes through the wormhole, it closes and opens up somewhere else in that same system immediately. You can never be stranded in the system. Now, these statics normally go to a specific area. In Eve, it was either a specific type of wormhole or a specific area of space. In Albion, that's likely to be either you always have a connection to the Royal Continent or you always have a connection to the Outlands. Maybe it gets a little bit more specific around a certain portal or around a certain city, but I expect there'll be some sort of static connection. Obviously, that's speculation, though. The second type of connection is called a wandering connection. So in addition to those statics, so your Roads of Avalon zone might always have a connection to the Royal Continent, and you can close that connection and another one will open. But in addition, you can randomly have wandering connections appear. So even though you might be able to count on always having a connection to the Royal Continent, on any given day or at any given time frame, you might have extra connections spawn in your system. Whether that's a portal opened up to another Mists of Avalon zone, or to an Outland zone, or to a Royal Continent zone. And it's through these network of static and wandering connections that you get kind of the local area of your Mists zone, or the Roads of Avalon zone. And since you can't count on any of these connections being there, even a few hours down the line, or the next day down the line, it creates a really interesting dynamic where you're constantly adapting to new environments. You might open up a connection right next to the biggest group in the game, and maybe that zone's not a good idea for you to go out to. Or you might open a connection and it's a dead-end zone and there's not many people there, and suddenly you and your group have complete access to this zone with all the materials and all the opportunities that zone might present.
If there was, for example, you said you opened up next door to the biggest, baddest guild in the game. Like you opened up next to, we'll say, Sex with X, because they're number one right now. And you were worried about them coming through. You say that they say they're limited. How would that be a danger to you if it's only limited and only like a few people can go through and then it closes and goes somewhere else? How did it work in Eve?
So in Eve, there are three things that limited the connections. It was how long that connection has been there. Each wormhole can only exist, I think, for a maximum of 48 hours. How much mass went through that wormhole? That's so different sizes of ships can go through. And actually, each hole has its own size. I doubt it'll work like this in Albion, but basically, there are different sizes of holes, and you can't fit big ships into small holes. And then if you send enough ships through that single hole, it might close it just from having too many players go through it. With this mechanic, there's a mechanic called drawbridging. So you can actually force a hole to close, and you should be able to do the same thing in Albion by just sending a bunch of players through that connection. So if you open up to a system that's super dangerous, as you, the person who lives on the roads, you could just send a bunch of people through that system, close the hole, and then suddenly you're not at risk for that group attacking you.
No longer able to raid. So instead of like maybe how they had mass, we could, I hate to say use IP or something. You could say send a bunch of people who run through and go, okay, we're going on a scouting trip, guys. Be prepared to run. I'll go on fast mounts, high IP, close the gate behind you, and then keep going through multiple gates in order to get back home, I guess, because it could be very far away. You could get yourself, you'd have to go, as you're saying, go find a static portal once you jump through, hope that you can all go through that static portal back to the Royals or into the Black Zone, then find your way back out. That could be really scary.
I mean, probably you would make it either through carry weight, right? You'd just be like, all right, let's pop a mammoth and go back and forth or something. And then have it that way. Could you explain a little bit more how you would find your way back to the place?
Well, I don't think it would
in?
actually ever be real mass-based Bogul in our game. Actually,
so how you would find your way back? So this actually, wormholes in general and the roads of Avalon in general are going to make scouts very, very important. Because in order to find your way back to a roads of Avalon system, let's give the example that you just sent 10 guys through a portal to go attack someone, but oops, on the 9th guy, the portal closed behind you. So now you need to get back to your hole, but now you don't know where your connection is. So you would have to rely on people already being in that Roads of Avalon zone to find the connections in that zone and tell you where they lead out to. So, okay, the portal closed. We're going to look for the other portal that generated. Okay, we found it, and it's in the Royal Continent, and it's near Martlock. So you guys are going to have to walk from wherever you're at in Outlands to Martlock, go through the portal, go into this Royal Continent zone, and that's how you can get back.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll definitely be a really big pain to get back, but it actually opens up some interesting situations, because now if you're a smaller group, you're actually a lot safer in one of these zones, because someone can't bring 3, 4, 5 times your numbers into the hole, because the portal's going to collapse before they get their entire group through. So it kind of limits the size of the engagements that can happen within these zones, which in EVE made the meta of wormholes turn into a very small game focused, very expensive build focused. Everyone, you don't wear cheap gear when if you die, you could be locked out of your hole. So it creates a really interesting meta, and it had, like, in terms of even Albion are pretty similar in terms of, like, there's not really much honor in the game. People are going to kill you just to kill you as much as they can.
Absolutely.
But in this smaller scale zone, kind of an honor system kind of developed. It was seen as unhonorable to bring the biggest ships and the biggest fleets to evict someone in one of these holes, because mechanically it would be something you'd have to work really, really hard to do.
You'd have to, like, really game the system in order to do it, and it was,
So it led to you saw a lot more veteran gameplay happen in these holes. You found a lot higher skill level gameplay happen, a lot smaller gang where your individual actions matter a lot more, because there are just fewer people to make action. And it kind of developed its own meta of, what do you run, and what are the safety practices? Like, when people start to figure out how many people they can fit through a portal, they can start doing things like, okay, we know if we take this group of 10 people, we run out of the portal and run back into our hole, it'll close it.
Yep.
So that might be a way they can, ensure safety in their zone. Or if you do that to the static, okay, I don't like where my static connection is going to right now. I'm going to keep rolling it and keep forcing closing it every single time to find an area where I can get some content, to where I can go. I know there are going to be people to go out and go hunt. So you'll see more advanced elite groups build their homes in these holes, not because they want to exploit the resources in that system, but because they want to be able to exploit the resources in everyone's systems.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I see how you're saying. Is it just by being somewhere in the mists, if you can learn how the portal works and how many trips through you have, you can go through into somebody else's high yield territory, go harvest it, and then go back through your portal and then close your portal behind you.
Exactly. And if you're running away while you're, milking someone's zone for all the resources they have. If they form a group bigger than you and you know how big your portal is, you can get your guys through the portal, be ready for a fight on the other side, and they might not be able to get their entire group through that portal to chase you.
Okay.
And you're going to know where that connection is, and they're not going to know where that connection is.
True, and they might not want to get stuck on the other side.
Exactly. Now, for the people who aren't wanting to live in these holes, some other gameplay options come up too. Because if I want to get, say I'm in Bridgewatch and I want to get over to Fort Sterling Black Zone area, I could either make the 20 or 30 zone trip across the continent, or I could send out scouts to try to find roads of Avalons that bridge that gap for me. So I might have people search for these connections, search for paths through the roads that are going to significantly cut down my travel time to get to where I need to go. And you saw that a lot in the big groups in EVE, where if I need to get across the galaxy, I'm not going to spend 2 hours burning my guys across the galaxy. I'm going to get a small group of people to look for wormholes that are going to make that trip really nice and short.
But it sounds like, because I think I was probably wrong before about the IP being based. I'm pretty sure from what I'm reading here, it sounds more like small groups, like numbers-wise, like might be the way they're going to do it.
The only thing they mentioned in the document was numbers.
Huh?
The only thing they mentioned in the roadmap was a limited number of players.
Right.
So any other mechanics would just be speculation.
Just speculation. So, yeah, it does sound like if in the moving large groups across the map would be very hard to do with these, because it doesn't sound like a large group is going to be able to go through them. You'd have to scout in a lot of different territories to find a number of correct portals.
How many would you say then is what you feel like could be a suitable number? Do you think there should be different sizes, or because I'm trying to put this into, whether or not 20 people make sense, or 15, or if I take a mammoth as part of my trip, should that count like 15 people, or there are some options. I would be curious to hear your thoughts on these, and if you had any speculative sort of guesses what could make sense.
Yeah, I would say there definitely have to be different sizes, because you've also got to consider people have got to go through those holes to see what's on the other side to inform their group. So there's going to be some back and forth that's got to be accounted for people just discovering what's on the other side of these portals. But in EVE, there are, I think, 3 or 4 different sizes holes. I think in Albion, they would probably need to do something similar. Maybe something on the super small scale, like 10 to 30 range, something on the medium scale of maybe 20 to 40 range, and then something on the larger scales like 50 to 100.
Well, I don't think, from what I was reading there, I don't think anything that large is what they're intending there. Small groups. Yep. But, I mean, when they say small groups, it's true. They did say solo dungeons was intended for people, 1, 2, 3, 4. So wandering mobs do stand still. We don't know how small a small group is, but I think we're looking at much smaller than that in this case. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I think 100 is what they would consider a large scale, a large group, a very, very large group.
Yeah, and they could make the different sizes of connections kind of be an aspect of the geography of these systems. So, for example, you could have a certain Roads of Avalon system where their static connection is always the very largest size of a portal. You might have some roads where their statics are very low player sizes of portals. Mm-hmm. So you might, a group that's a little bit bigger might want to go for one of the systems that's got a static that can accommodate more people. A smaller group, they're going to find more safety in going to a system that has smaller connections, because that means it's harder for someone to get a force in that's going to be able to really be a threat to them. So I think there's room to play around with it. I probably agree 50 or 100 is probably too big. But those kind of connections so bigger connections are going to allow groups that don't live there to utilize them more, because they can move more people through them, like use the connection aspect of them. And smaller ones are going to be more beneficial, I think, to the people who live there.
Yeah.
Because you can have a group that's much bigger than your connection size. People are just going to have to go through different connections. You're not going to be able to use your entire force outside of your system reliably.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about living there, because that's one of the other hints they have. I was wondering when you consider what you need to live in an area? Is that, would you think that these zones are similar to, the map size we have right now, or should they be smaller, or should you be able to place a hideout in these, or what kind of difference would it have to be that this sort of makes sense as as a living space? Or do we not have any worries? Can we just assume it's like an Outland zone and then we can place a hideout there and then it's good?
In my opinion, it seems like it's going to be like a normal zone, like other zones you see anywhere else in the game, except that instead of having gates on the corners, you're just going to have portals appear randomly throughout. That's similar to how static dungeons, or not statics, random dungeons appear randomly throughout. That's how I'm guessing it'll work. It could be something different. I think it would be hard to have people live out of these systems without a hideout, without being able to place hideouts, unless there's certain Roads of Avalon systems that are designed to let you live in them. Like they have some sort of, a bank or some city plots or something to that effect. But I think to mesh with the rest of the mechanics going on in Albion right now, probably would just be easier to let you place hideouts.
Right. I think it's probably a hideout situation as well. And I think that this is, right now, so much of the roadmap was focused on like small group gameplay, like solo players, small group and stuff. So I really do, I think this is more about, 5 people, 10 people, maybe 20 people at the high end. But getting like small group PvP again, and getting a lot of the people who are in the Royals with nowhere to really go because they don't really have the guild support to help them in the black zones, because you really do need support in the black zones. Where it is now, you only need is like a group support. You don't need a full guild to support you. You could be a guild of 5 people who go out and regularly do stuff. If you can have a hideout that can't really be attacked and allows you to engage in group combat of 5-10 people on a regular basis without worrying about being rolled over by large groups of 20-40 people or more. This would be kind of something I think a lot of people who are living in the Royals and not finding enough room to really do anything anymore, a place to play, because I feel like we're running out of room in the Royals. Like more and more people are living there, and they're not really migrating as much to the Black Zone as I was hoping.
I would agree. And I think this kind of system is going to help smaller groups because of security by obscurity. It's hard for someone to attack your hideout if they don't know where it is, if they have to put in a lot of work to find it. And in fact, that's the same in EVE, where it's hard to get to. If you want to get to a specific wormhole, it's almost impossible to get to that specific wormhole. There's like 3,000 different wormholes in that game. You have to just randomly go into them until you get lucky and you find the system you're looking for. I imagine it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be the 3,000 number, but it's going to be a pretty high number of Roads of Avalon systems, and it's going to be hard for someone to hunt down a specific hideout if they don't like your group very much.
Yeah,
but it also means
a large number of players. It would take a lot of effort of trying to find over and over again where around Martlock is the particular portal that we need. How many portals are you going to go through until you find the right one? Yeah, could be interesting to say the least.
Yeah, and then from the perspective of the group defending, it's harder to get enough people in to compete. The people who are trying to take out your hideout might need to bring more expensive gear than they would normally bring because they don't know how many people they can fit into the hole. Mm-hmm. They might be more selective with who they send into the hole. You might have some people who are tied up because a connection along the way closed, and now they're stranded in some Roads of Avalon system and have to find their way out. It introduces a whole lot of risks for those groups trying to assault. Now, if a group puts in enough effort, if they, over the course of a few weeks, sneak players into their Roads of Avalon system, then it becomes a little bit more interesting. You can turn into a situation where you were only expecting 15 people because your connection only allows 15 people, but then 30 people are here.
It's going to be very interesting to see the possibilities for group combat, like small group combat, really do seem like they're popping out. Like I'm getting all these ideas, and I don't want to speculate too much. We did want to keep this kind of short. So is there anything you would like to end this on?
Not really, except that I am very, very, very excited for Roads of Avalon in Albion. And I know a lot of my friends who are also Eve veterans are also extraordinarily excited about this. I think this is going to open up. The biggest thing to me is it's going to allow more force equalization between different sizes of groups. If you're a small group and you can't compete with the 100, 200, 300 man blobs with 20, 30, 40 battle mounts, then maybe looking at a Roads of Avalon system and considering living inside of it is a good choice for your group. And I think anything that's going to give groups that are smaller, groups that are working on building up, groups that want to be those next big power blocks, room to grow is important and well needed for the game.
Well stated.
I just like to second that. The 15, 20 minutes we've been talking about this now makes me so much more excited than I was initially. And now I really, really can't wait anymore. Can we just fast track this? Hello?
No.
Anybody listening? Can we fast track this,
Bogul?
please?
No.
Yeah?
No. These
What?
things take time. We got to do it right. And when it comes
Aw.
out, I want it to work. And they've got a few more patches for Queen first.
I have
okay.
faith they're going to do it well, though.
What was that? I didn't get to hear that.
I have faith they're going to do it well.
So do I. I'm really looking forward to this and Corrupted solo dungeons. But on that note, we'll have to do another one of these where somebody comes back and once again pretends to be an expert with Shozen and Bogul.